All right, well, just a little bit about myself, and I'll talk about COMPAREX, who I work for. I've been in IT for about 2 decades now, and I've obviously seen a lot of the transformation that's occurred in our own industry, not alone the industries of our customers. I've owned 2 different businesses, traditional on-site consulting and then cloud consulting, and now I'm here at COMPAREX helping our customers. So thank you very much for coming. COMPAREX is a multinational company. We're in 35 different countries. We focus on inspiring our customers to help them achieve their cloud transitions and transformations. We also help with licensing as well as services, so please come by our booth. I'll talk about that in a little bit later. So what is digital transformation? It is a change, it's a chance. Honestly, it's a bit scary for most people when we talk about digital transformation. So we'll talk a little bit about the actual definition. So I think digital transformation in itself is probably confusing. A lot of people have a lot of different interpretations of what it actually means. But really, it's about bringing technology into all facets of your business. So making sure that you're looking to ways to leverage IT and technology to drive additional value with your organization. I don't think any successful digital transformation occurs without people. People are more important than the technology. How we work with people, help them with the change and the adoption of that technology is most important. And ultimately, strategy is more important. The tools will always change. There'll always be something new to consider. That's part of the life cycle that we live in. But we need to focus, obviously, on the tools as well as the strategy. As IT leaders now, we also need to be agile. I can't tell you how many times I have to spend my weekends learning about something that's new that just come out. Taking time out of my own schedule to continue to do my own training, even when it's not convenient necessarily. But as leaders in IT, we need to really be focused on this in order to approach digital transformation effectively. Strategic. IT is no longer about being in the back office. We need to be strategic and aligned to the values and priorities of the businesses that we work with. It's no longer that we can just set up servers and not care what the ROI is on it, or be concerned about the costs. You're moving to the cloud, everything has a cost, especially around consumption. Innovative. Looking out what's coming out in the market, just evaluating and seeing how it's going to affect our businesses either in a positive way or a negative way is really important to understand. And that always comes down to just being curious. As IT leaders, we need to be curious. I think in terms of a methodology, when I look at digital transformation, I walk our customers through a lot of different steps. The first really for me is to help envision our customers what's possible, whether it's Microsoft or other solutions that are in the market. It's about getting our customers excited and inspired around the change, getting buy-in from IT leaders as well as the business leaders to make those changes happen. You know, starting out and changing your organization can be a bit challenging if you don't know actually where you are and where you rank in terms of a benchmark against your competitors, and understanding what the path ahead looks like. Are you behind the curve? Are you ahead of the curve? Where do you lie? So we're here to help our customers with that assessment. So that's something I'll talk about in a little bit as well. We ultimately map the solutions to our customers and give them that journey into transformation. It's a guide, it's a plan that we work with our customers on. And then adoption. I can't say how many times people have come to the booth this week and said user adoption is my biggest challenge. User adoption is more than just training. People think that you just give training and that's user adoption. That's not. There's a whole awareness campaign, there's a whole change management methodology that you have to do. But user adoption in cloud or any technology is probably the biggest blocker for most organizations right now. So when I look at digital transformation, I look at it through a few different lenses. There we go. I look at it in terms of what the business priorities are of our customers, where are the opportunities to add value quickly. Also look at the technology usage, how we're using technology today, and ultimately that kind of tells me how mature your organization is in terms of being ready for your digital transformation. So we'll talk a little bit about that some more, but let's talk about the first myth. So a lot of people get scared about digital transformation because they think they have to reinvent their business. Not the case. I think in most cases, you look for ways that you can bring technology into your organizations and add value to your already core services. So you're already doing something really well. You don't need to start over. You just need to see how you can do something better to add additional value to drive your competitive advantage. So for most organizations, they get scared about this because they think, I have to become the next Uber, the next Lyft. I need to be disruptive. And really, in the end, it's about adding value to what you already do. Good. Myth number 2, digital transformation is a specific project or single initiative. So we're going to do a show of hands. Yes, this is a single project or initiative. Anyone raise their hand and say yes to this? No yeses? No? This is a no? All right, I got some nods on the no side. You're absolutely right. It's a life cycle, right? We don't think of the transformation as a single deployment. It's not a migration to Microsoft 365. It's not something that ever ends. It's just a cycle of continuing to evaluate the technology that you have and continuing to make improvements over time. You have to investigate and evolve your technologies, but ultimately it's a cycle. There's no beginning or ending. And there's no nirvana. It just keeps going. That's where we're at. Myth number 3, IT can do it alone. That's not generally the case. I think a lot of us have probably been part of IT for long enough to know that maybe IT doesn't have a lot of credibility when it comes to digital transformation. You had a botched SharePoint migration, or you're using something now that makes you more inefficient than you did before. Not a lot of credibility. But as IT, we can work with our business leaders and across different departments within our own organizations to build value. You know, the point is that we reach out. We're no longer siloed in our own world, that we need to get the buy-in of a lot more people on a broader base than just going ahead and deploying something new. That's that's the old approach. Now we have to go to a different way. I think education and information is always important. That gets to the adoption that we talked about a little bit earlier. And also around strategy. So many businesses think they can just jump right into a transformation with absolutely no idea where they're going. You know, that is mind-boggling to me that people approach it that way. But credibility is really important, and having a broader audience and bringing those folks to the network. And then number 4, IT is up to the task. We agree with this? Disagree? No? Yes? Maybe is my answer to that. You know, I think it depends on the type of organization that you have. For me, it's about looking at the people, the resources, the skills, and making sure they're aligned to where we're trying to go. You know, I've been here for 2 decades, and I can tell you that my skills have continued to change. I had to continue to reinvent myself. We have to encourage that in the folks that work with us as well. And as leaders, we have to make sure that we're educating them and giving them the opportunities to grow. Tech workers that are creative. It's not about 1, 2, 3 follow-up process anymore. It's like looking at problems differently and understanding that their solutions aren't necessarily logical. You know, you can jump ahead, you can think differently, and that's just being creative, and that's something maybe that can be taught, but we have to encourage that with our folks. And developing a culture that is capable of moving a lot quicker. IT has moved quickly for a long time, obviously a lot more quicker now, but most organizations are now just in a constant cycle, and we have to get folks and staff that are comfortable with that. And then myth number 5 is always the most important. Is your job safe? Well, no is the answer to that. It depends on what type of employee you are, what type of leader you are. If you want to be a plumber and just do what keeps the lights on, that's not where we need to be. If you want to lose your job to maybe a chief digital marketing officer or a chief digital officer, that's a possibility if you're not adding value to the customer or to the company and aligning to the strategy of the business. how we use technology is a lot different. It keeps evolving, but I think just because you're in IT doesn't mean necessarily you're safe. You have to continue to reinvent yourself and add value. You can't just think that I'm coming on at 8 a.m. and I leave at 5. That's we're not 9 to 5 anymore. So that's the 5 myths. I do want to just do a quick summary. And I want to give everyone a little bit of encouragement. For the most part, I know digital transformation is a challenge for all of us. We don't really know what it means. To me, if we're going to start a project, let's have a baseline. Today's really around establishing a baseline for the organization. So, transformation, you don't need to restart your business over. You don't need to become the next Uber or Lyft or next disruptive company. Digital transformation is not about a single project, as I mentioned. IT can do it alone, not likely. IT is up to the task, maybe. And IT roles are safe because it's already digital strategy. So thank you very much for your time today. I think we're at time, a little bit maybe over time. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can certainly do so. The deck will be available as well as the video after the session. And thank you very much for attending. We have a booth here at 1700. There's a raffle to win a trip to Oktoberfest 2019, so please come over. I'm happy to answer questions at the booth or after the session, and thank you so much. Have a great Ignite. Thank you.